We all know the story of Universe 6's insanely strong Saiyans. Those include Cabba, Caulifla, and Kale. While Caulifla and Kale show remarkable power, Cabba is the one of interest for this what if. The one who looks up to Vegeta as a mentor. The one who challenged Vegeta's power after turning into a Super Saiyan for the first time. He's pure-hearted, innocent, and a fighter. But what if this character was in Universe 7? What if Cabba was born in Universe 7? Cabba is born like any other Saiyan, except his power rivals that of the Prince. It's not too high to raise alarms with the King like the Saiyan Broly did, which obviously resulted in him getting exiled. Cabba was born in an elite family, second to that of Vegeta's. Their powers were rivaled so much that both were competitors growing up. Cabba's power was always remarkable, with him being able to match a Super Saiyan Vegeta, infused with God Ki, in just his first time achieving that form. His power level would grow to at least double Vegeta's. He and Cabba always remained close friends, with both gaining a respect for the other. However, Cabba would always come out on top, only pushing Vegeta to become even stronger. They both run their own squads, with Vegeta leading Nappa and Raditz in the original, and Cabba running with two adult Saiyans. His leadership shines with him being capable of teamwork, unlike Vegeta. He was assigned two Saiyans from Bardock's crew, because of their power being comparable to that of Cabba's. While Cabba is pure-hearted like his Universe 6 self, he is still forced to slaughter people, and commit mass genocide in the name of Frieza. He hates the Emperor, but knows the power that he carries. There's nothing that he can do to prevent the destruction. Maybe one day he can grow strong enough, but he's smart enough to know that now is not that time. One day on a mission that took them nearly a month, they get word that planet Vegeta had been destroyed. Frieza had taken action finally, and decided to destroy the planet to not be challenged by the Super Saiyan ever again. Cabba's devastated, and in his heart, knows that it was Frieza. He tells his squad mates to destroy the scouters as it allows them to be tracked. They understand what he's saying, doing as they're told. Just then, a squad of Frieza's troops being led by Kui attack them. Kui's powerful as he takes on Cabba. Borges and Sagace take on the soldiers, handling them easily yet carefully. Kui remarks that he never did like Cabba, but it seems that he knows too much. Cabba's angered as a rage boost engulfs him in power. It was Frieza, wasn't it? He destroyed my home. Kui's taken aback by the power coming off of Cabba, whose hair even turns gold for a split second. Before Kui gets a chance to do anything, Cabba fires his version of the Gallic gun, and kills the soldiers once and for all. He destroys their scouters as well, and now free of Frieza's rule, the three Saiyans head out into the unknown. They try their best to avoid going to planets owned by the Emperor, eventually coming across a planet full of tiny creatures. They have come across planet Yardrat. As they arrive, they proclaim that they come in peace. The Yardratians are cautious, but Paibar steps forward and reads Cabba's mind, realizing what he had gone through. He apologizes for the treatment, but they had to be sure he wasn't here to cause harm. He expresses his condolences for the death of planet Vegeta, and then shows Cabba the work he can do here to defeat that of Frieza. Having read his mind, Paibar knows that Frieza killed Cabba's home, that Cabba is hell-bent on killing Frieza. He can help him achieve that goal, and Cabba's on board with that. Having insane potential like that of his Universe 6 counterpart, he's immediately catching on to the training at hand. Given the time that he and his team have, they don't learn instant transmission like Goku did. As we know, that is the bare minimum of the Yardratian techniques. They're given the task of mastering spirit control, and with them having literally nowhere to go, they stay on that planet for years and years and years to come. Cabba not only manages to master spirit control, but he also learns gigantification, healing, duplication, instant transmission, basically every trick in the book. One day, Cabba's carrying out his normal training duties, when a pod comes down from the sky, crashing into many buildings before coming to a halt. It opens up, and a man falls out of it, bloodied, bruised, and on death's door. They heal the man up, and he finally awakens hours and hours later. Paibar nor Cabba had read the mind of the man, wanting to know firsthand what had happened to him. As he awakes, Goku cries out, "Frieza!" Cabba's eyes widen as he questions Goku on what he knows. How does he know Frieza? Do you know where he is? Goku comes to and is made aware of where he is. The memories come back to him. I'm a Saiyan named Goku. Cabba's led to further disbelief. You're a Saiyan? Are there more? Goku answers all his questions, even mentioning that he met a Saiyan named Vegeta, and that he became the legendary Super Saiyan that Vegeta was talking about. Cabba's obviously taken aback by a huge amount. By all of this, it's a lot to take in. Once he digests all the information, he realizes that he is literally speaking to a legend. Goku is the legendary Super Saiyan. And now that he knows all this, it's time that he finally leave Yardrat and go out into the unknown once more. Borges and Sagace respect his wishes, but choose not to come along with him, because they simply like the simple life. Goku, however, does still stay for another year. He learns instant transmission much quicker because Cabba's there to show him the way. He had learned the technique firsthand by himself, with Paibara's teachings, so taking Goku through that process is much easier for him. This leads Goku to learn the basics of spirit control as well. It's not too impressive though. The day before their scheduled leave, they sense two immense power levels passing by Yardrat. Goku looks at Cabba in shock, and Cabba back. They both recognize that energy signature. It's Frieza. Cabba waits absolutely no time and tells Goku to teleport them to Earth. He says goodbye to his friend and thanks his mentor one last time before they're teleported to Earth, awaiting the arrival of the Emperor. Cabba looks at Goku, telling him that Frieza is all his. Goku nods in return. Everyone on Earth isn't left in the dark, however. They too sense this. But right after sensing Frieza, they discovered the key signature of Goku, and what appears to be another Saiyan. They all decide to gear up and head in that direction. As soon as they arrive, so does Frieza. Cabba goes over to them and takes a stance, with Goku taking down all the soldiers with a single ki attack. He too gets in position to fight King Cold. Z-Fighters look in, with Vegeta seeing Cabba. Of course you're still alive, old friend. Cabba looks at Frieza. This is for Planet Vegeta. This is for my family and my friends. He smirks and starts to power up. Goku wasn't the only one that learned a thing or two from Yardrat. Cabba had managed to pick up the transformation from the legends as he trained with Goku. His power explodes as everyone is thrown back. His hair turns gold and his aura too. He stands making one final gesture and attacking Frieza, who is shocked and rocked. Punch after punch, the pain he receives is agonizing, with Cabba making it slow as possible. Trunks even ends up arriving from the future, only to witness Cabba taking the life out of Frieza. Cabba then uses Force Spirit Fission to take the last of Frieza's energy, and use it against him, ending the Emperor once and for all. Goku takes his hand and takes it straight through Cold, knowing that just like Frieza, he would never stop attacking them. Trunks then arrives, in Super Saiyan himself. Vegeta is just left baffled. There are Super Saiyans left, right, and front, and he is not one of them. Trunks explains to Cabba and Goku that a threat is on the way, and Goku will need this medicine to survive a virus that kills him in the future. He then heads off. Piccolo heard the entire thing, and with Cabba's help, breaks it down to the group. Vegeta and Cabba's reunion is short, but heartfelt on the inside, with both showing a mutual respect for each other that they never actually lost. In the 3-year gap of training, Cabba pushes himself closer and closer to Vegeta. He knows a way through the wall of ego and pride that is him. He taunts Vegeta with the power of the Super Saiyan, being a nod to what Vegeta did to try and get Cabba to unlock Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Super. Vegeta's anger, and is in mental agony before he finally cracks, accessing Super Saiyan with the help of Cabba, while also destroying the entirety of Capsule Corp as he does. With him achieving Super Saiyan early, and with a training partner, he sees the benefit of training with people, and joins Cabba in training with Goku, Piccolo, and sometimes even Gohan. Speaking of Gohan, his training is going far better than in the original. With Cabba as a new training partner, as well as the occasional heavy sparring with Vegeta, he is growing exponentially, so much so that he manages to unlock Super Saiyan as well. This makes sense considering that there are 3 people around him that are constantly going at it in their Super Saiyan transformation. He feels so powerless in front of them. He trembles in fear, reminding him of what he felt when he was against Frieza. Until one day, he gets the nerve to fight. He gets out of the fear that he was once in and breaks through to ascend beyond and unlock the powers of the Super Saiyan. The 3 years come and go, and eventually the androids end up attacking. But it's not the androids Trunks described. Instead of seeing 2 near-identical twin androids, they encounter Jiro and 19. This happens because of weird timeline changes, but a big change would be that the androids have Cabba's DNA as well. Or to put it better, they know how he fights, as they do with the other Z-Fighters. Yamcha gets stabbed through the chest as a result of provoking Jiro, with Krillin flying him out of there. The group take the 2 androids to a safer location, where Goku fights 19. After his heart condition starts to worsen, Cabba sees this and lands a thunderous kick to 19, startling him. He quickly heals Goku and tells him that he's got this one. Cabba powers up into a Super Saiyan, and much like with Goku, this wasn't expected by the androids, especially with Cabba's power being more than doubles Goku's as well, with him knowing Spirit Control, which as we saw with Vegeta, increases your base power immensely. 19 and Cabba fight, with Cabba having the clear advantage. He fires a ki blast at the android to end the job, but it dissipates as it makes contact with him. He had absorbed the energy of the blast, supercharging him. For a moment he gets the upper hand on Cabba before the Saiyan realizes what happened. He uses his punches and kicks, taking away 19's limbs, before Vegeta kicked his head off. He had to take the win from his friend. Just then, Goku grips his chest in pain. The heart virus strike, just a little bit later because he wasn't straining himself as much. Krillin takes him away to provide the medicine. Gero, seeing he's outnumbered and outmatched, tries to run away, but everyone is on his tail. Piccolo manages to do even more damage to him than in the original because he's stronger, but Trunks' arrival still confuses everybody, allowing the Doctor to escape. He activates the 2 androids, which sends everyone into a panic. They kill him, but after that, Trunks suggests that they run away. However, Vegeta is adamant on attacking. Cabba sides with Vegeta, telling him that while they don't have Goku, there are still 4 Super Saiyans present. Himself, Vegeta, Trunks, and even Gohan. They have this covered. That soon becomes untrue, however. Vegeta takes on 18 alone and still gets his arm snapped. However, Cabba has the power to heal, which he does so, giving Vegeta Zenkai. And while it isn't much, it's still added power as Vegeta didn't abuse Zenkais as much as he did in the original, making this one better than most of his other ones. The group all land a barrage at 18, while Cabba and Vegeta take on 17. They're able to tag team him and stay on par with the android, but they're running out of energy, unlike 17. Eventually, Vegeta's knocked out of his transformation, but that's when Cabba realizes there's a whole way out of this. He starts to utilize his Force Spirit Fission, having seen 19 absorb his attack earlier. This gives him the idea to use it on 17, who actually runs on an infinite engine, so he never runs out of energy. But Cabba can use that to an even more of an advantage. He can keep siphoning 17 until he has the necessary power to take him on. Slowly but surely, Cabba goats 17 into using more key attacks, and Cabba collects his power, directing it to himself, which keeps him going as well. He starts to form a blast fully made from 17's power right above them, and by the time 17 notices it, it's far too late. Cabba launches the attack and 16 is about to step in, when Trunks and Vegeta land a barrage on him. The damage isn't really doing anything. Key attacks are nothing to 16, but it keeps him at bay. 17 can't seem to push the attack back, and that's when from a distance, a certain bio-android takes his chance to strike. This prolonged fight allowed Cell to hatch, and he notices his opportunity to absorb 17. After he does that, there's no one that can stop him. As he's engulfed in Cabba's attack, 17 is heard screaming in agony. No one can really tell what's going on until the blast dissipates. When it does, 17 is no more. Only Cell, in his semi-perfect form. 16 immediately recognizes a threat, and tells everyone they need to take Cell down before anything else. Cabba prioritizes and realizes that 16's right. Cell is a threat, and he looks far more powerful than everyone else. And if 16 is calling for a truce to stop this thing, it must mean it's stronger than him as well. They need to work together. Trunks has a hard time with this because they can kill 18 right here and now, but they don't have a choice. Cell attacks them, and they have a very hard time fighting him. Their synergy is non-existent. 16 and Cabba are the heavy hitters, but Cell is just way too powerful. He's easily able to take down most of the group, and handle 16 by blowing half of his robotic brains out. One by one, he takes all the Super Saiyans down, and then utilizes a Sun Solar Flare to come towards 18, striking her with his tail. This turns Cell into the perfect being. He looks around himself. Useless fools. I want a good fight. Train up. 10 days. As Cell leaves, Goku arrives on the scene, fully healed. He had sensed what they're up against. I know how we can beat that. The Room of Spirit and Time. Cabba, having been told about the room from Goku in their time on Yardrat, already knows what it is, and explains that it might actually be a really good idea. Everyone else heads up to the lookout, and they decide who goes in with who. Goku will obviously go in with Gohan, seeing him as their best chance. Vegeta can choose between Cabba and Trunks, but at the end of the day he goes a little soft because Trunks is his son from the future, and decides to go in with him. Cabba's left with the only option being really Piccolo. But don't underestimate Piccolo. He's fused with Kami, and he is training in the 3-year gap, which was a lot better training, so he's actually stronger than everyone else right now, except for Cabba. Goku and Gohan's training in the Time Chamber is far more beneficial than it was in the original story. Gohan has already unlocked Super Saiyan, so that saves them a lot of time right off the bat. The grade 2, 3, and 4 Super Saiyan transformations are easily achieved within the first 6 months of training, but Gohan is able to unlock something even further through his Burst of Rage. Seeing this, Goku decides to push Gohan further and further, until he does manage to unlock and maintain the new form, Super Saiyan 2. This is very manageable and possible for this story, considering Gohan has had Super Saiyan for around a year already, and they have so much extra time in the room. Goku soon follows by achieving Super Saiyan 2 himself, being told what it feels like by Gohan. He just imagines Krillin being killed over and over again by Frieza, or Cell killing Gohan over and over again, or his family. It works out. Once they come out of the room, Goku showcases his power to Korin, in which he takes himself to Super Saiyan 2, shocking everybody. Cell senses this power, and realizes that he actually needs to cut down on their training. He informs everyone that they have 1 day left, forcing Trunks and Vegeta to get only 6 months, while Cabba and Piccolo also only get 6 months. In this time, all the Saiyans manage to unlock the 4th grade of Super Saiyan, but not Super Saiyan 2 because of limited time. The Cell games begin, with Cell immediately singling out Goku. After their much like normal fearsome fight, Goku blows Cell in half, but he regenerates. Instead of giving up and landing it to Gohan, Goku decides it's time he go all out, as Cell gets prepared to end him. He decides to power up into a Super Saiyan 2, shocking Cell. Bit by bit, he tortures Cell. But unlike Gohan, he has control. He fires a Kamehameha to kill him, who fires his perfect Kamehameha in return. But it's no use as he's overtaken and seemingly killed. Goku turns around and says, "All in a day's work." He then transforms back to base. But just then, a surge of power is seen behind him, and a special beam cannon approaches Goku at an immense speed. Cabba's about to jump in front of it, but he isn't fast enough. The beam pierces through Goku's chest as it nearly kills him. Cell stands behind Goku, nearly dead, and laughs. "You think that would be enough to kill me?" He had been given a power boost from the revival of his cells. Super Perfect Cell is ready to take on the rest of the group. But once again, Gohan knows Super Saiyan 2, and now he has a rage boost to go with that. Cabba heals Goku as Gohan is seen fighting Cell. I would love to say this is a long and challenging fight for both sides, but Cell, even though he is super perfected right now, stands no chance against Gohan. He's killed, and this time for good. Trunks returns to his time, happy, and kills the androids and Cell there as well. Things go peaceful for the next 7 years to come. With Goku being alive, he continues to train and strive for Super Saiyan 3. While this might not be possible considering that he is in the living world, Goku did achieve Super Saiyan 2 much sooner than in the original, so there's still a chance. Alongside him though, Cabba and Vegeta would also unlock Super Saiyan 2 and master it. Cabba goes even further than Vegeta in almost learning Super Saiyan 3 himself. But after seeing Goku use it, he realizes the defects of the form, basically making it useless. Gohan slacks on training, but eventually does become the Great Saiyaman. However, Videl learns of his identity and forces him to participate in the World Martial Arts Tournament. Everyone thinks of this as a fun opportunity to fight each other, so they all go. Mostly everything remains the same with Gohan's energy being stolen. He is a little stronger, but not strong enough to fight everyone off. This power just fuels Majin Buu even more. The group go over to find Babidi's ship. However, Dabura sees them and kills Kibito, followed by spitting on Krillin. As he aims for Piccolo, Cabba gets in front of it and tries to block it with his arm. His wristband gets stoned and it starts to spread, but he manages to take it off quickly. The group start to fight Dabura before Babidi teleports him out of there. Cabba doesn't waste any time in teleporting to the Chu's location on his own. Goku follows Cabba's energy signature, and with Vegeta and Shin goes into the ship. Cabba transforms into a Super Saiyan 2 and starts to dominate Dabura, while Vegeta and Goku take on Pui Pui and Yakon. A pretty easy fight for all three. Babidi soon realizes that while he's getting a lot of energy, it's not enough. He still needs 25% more. That's when he tries to take Vegeta over, but it doesn't work out for him this time. This Vegeta spent a lot more time around the group, due to Cabba. He's more pure-hearted and he doesn't hate Goku as much, and while he does want to surpass him, and even Cabba, he is not crazy enough to give his sanity away for that purpose. Babidi has one more idea though. He teleports him and Dabura to a faraway location where he takes his only minion's energy and puts it inside Buu's egg. Dabura is on the level of Gohan in the original, and Gohan's power provided about 50%, so Dabura's would as well. This releases Buu and the group sense the immense power. They all get there as quickly as they can, transforming into their most powerful form. Buu is unexpectedly jolly, but still insanely powerful. They all try their best to fight him, but he just slaps them all away, joyfully. Goku uses Super Saiyan 3 and is able to hold off Buu long enough for Cabba to come up with a plan. Cabba uses his spirit control and realizes that there's more than one energy coming off of Buu. There's something joined with him. Actually, multiple things. While Goku distracts Buu, Cabba gets behind him and punches him with his Force Spirit Fission. This doesn't hurt the being at all, but he starts to feel weird. He feels like he's being split, and when he does, there's 4 results. There's the good in Buu, which is the happy and jolly one, and then there's the 2 souls that Cabba sensed within their foe. The Kais, the Dai Kaio and the South Kai, are freed from Buu's grasp, and together they all launch a simultaneous attack to stop the last result. The evil in Buu. Kid Buu, killing him. Afterwards, Cabba is thanked for his help in freeing them. The group are commended for stopping such a universal threat, and Cabba is even offered a place to train in the Kai's realm, which he actually takes up on. Once there, he manages to lift the Z-Sword easily, but the Grand Kai reveals that the true power is within the sword. He snaps it in two using his magic, which reveals the Elder Kai from imprisonment. As a thanks, he unlocks Cabba's potential, which makes Cabba the strongest fighter by far. Cabba continues his training on the Kai's world, until one day, the God of Destruction wakes up, in search of the Super Saiyan God. Beerus is hungry for the fight of his life, and is informed that there are still a handful of Saiyans alive. One is, interestingly enough, training on the Kai's planet, while another one is training on King Kai's. Beerus is excited to hear this, and tells Whis to take him to the one in the Kai's realm. It only makes sense that a Saiyan training with the Lord of Lords is the Super Saiyan God that he's searching for. Once arriving, he questions and analyzes Cabba. It turns out he has no idea what a Super Saiyan God is, but he does offer to fight Beerus, and Beerus happily accepts the challenge. Cabba immediately realizes that he's going to have to go all out against the god, and he starts off by utilizing Ultimate. Beerus actually has to try to fight him, considering Cabba in this form would be hundreds of times beyond the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, at the least. Cabba is striking Beerus left and right, as the God of Destruction is taken aback by this. He gets angered when a Gallic gun puts burn marks on his clothes. Beerus proceeds by powering up, but Cabba wasn't done. He notices the increase in his enemy's power, and in counter, he goes into Super Saiyan. However, Beerus doesn't notice an increase in power, but rather a decrease. Cabba inhales a breath, however, and when he exhales, his power skyrockets as he stacks Super Saiyan with Ultimate. He goes in for one final barrage of attacks on Beerus, and is able to do really well. Eventually his time runs out, however, and he is defeated by Beerus, who commends him on the effort. Beerus then heads over to King Kai's planet, where he is heavily disappointed by Goku's performance, in comparison to Cabba's, and then to Earth, where Vegeta is even worse. He is about to destroy Earth, when Cabba and Goku both show up, having the same idea, to use the Dragon Balls. Beerus halts for the moment, and allows them to do what they were planning. Shenron reveals the ritual, and Beerus requests that Cabba be the one to get it, because he's clearly the strongest out of them. Videl isn't needed, as Cabba would be the 6th Saiyan, which results in him becoming the Super Saiyan God. To put this in perspective, Cabba as a Super Saiyan was rivaling a Vegeta in Super Saiyan in the Tournament of Destroyer saga, who had God Ki training with Whis, and was stronger than a Super Saiyan God Goku in Battle of Gods in just his base form. Now giving Cabba Super Saiyan God would put him at unimaginable heights, far beyond anything Goku and Vegeta achieved by the time even the Goku Black saga came around. Beerus is given a run for his money. He is absolutely amazed at the power that Cabba has within him, and the Universe 7 Saiyan is giving him the best fight he's ever had. Beerus is pushed to his full power just to take down Cabba, who loses Super Saiyan God only to use Ultimate infused with God Ki, and fight Beerus, now being even stronger. Eventually, however, not even this new power manages to defeat the God of Destruction. He's just too immense of a foe. But Cabba is the one person who has ever come that close to taking him down. Beerus offers training at his world, with Goku and Vegeta taking up on it. However, Cabba decides to further continue his training with the Kais, knowing that he has more to learn. Once he's healed up, he goes to the Grand Kai and asks to be trained in the form of God Ki. That power was crazy, and he needs to taste that again. This isn't that hard for the Grand Kai to provide, because he is a Whis level teacher, and he too has God Ki because he's a deity. With that comes understanding of what it is as well. The Daikaio has access to the God Realm, which Whis used in the original to teach Goku and Vegeta how to use God Ki. Cabba is put in there until he's able to maneuver while using God Ki. Once doing so, the Grand Kai joins him and trains Cabba further, until he unlocks Super Saiyan God. Unlike Goku and Vegeta, who unlock Super Saiyan God and then go straight for a further power, Cabba's a perfectionist. He further improves on his Super Saiyan God transformation first, until there's nothing to improve on. Afterwards, he does something unthinkable. Much like how Goku did with Blue Kaioken, and much like how he earlier did with Ultimate Super Saiyan, Cabba tries to stack Ultimate on top of Super Saiyan God. This is a long and painful process, but definitely doable for the Saiyan with no limits. Eventually, Frieza is revived, and Gohan alongside the Z-Fighter try to take him on. While Gohan isn't as weak as he used to be, he isn't nearly at the level of Frieza. It only takes 2 hits to take him down instead of 1. However, Cabba teleports to Earth before Frieza can actually kill anyone. Frieza loses his mind just seeing Cabba, who had killed him years prior. Cabba smirks. "So I get to kill you again." Will you never learn, Frieza? I'm too powerful for you. Frieza powers up straight to his golden form, ready to kill, but Cabba turns into a Super Saiyan God, which everyone is left mesmerized by. He doesn't give Frieza any second chances or any time to go on with his stupid monkey dialogue. Cabba pummels Frieza so very easily that he mocks the former Emperor by only using one hand. That same hand is then used to fire a blast that kills Frieza as soon as fast as he was revived. Shortly after, Champa arrives on Beerus' planet and offers a trade in the form of Universe 7's Earth based off of a tournament. Of course, Beerus takes this on and informs Goku and Vegeta to form a team. They're obviously the first two members, followed by Cabba as well as Piccolo and Buu. Goku, Vegeta, and Cabba go into the Room of Spirit and Time to train for the next 3 days or 3 years for them. Inside, all three are striving for different things. Goku is going to take the route he took in the original story, heading towards Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, while Cabba continues to master his ultimate form stacked with God. Just to mention it, Cabba is well aware of the Super Saiyan Blue form. Hell, he even has it. But he takes it one evolution at a time, and Ultimate God won't be the only thing he managed to achieve in this time, in the room. Lastly, there's Vegeta. He's trying to find his own unique power within this, feeling out of place, but what he finds is more of a strategy. Vegeta plans to use his Super Saiyan God and Blue form together, much like how Goku did in the Tournament of Power against Dispo, using God for most of the time because it isn't nearly as taxing to use as Blue is. While he's in God, he maneuvers, but as he attacks, he goes into Blue, and does the most amount of damage possible as the enemy isn't expecting the sharp increase in speed and power. Now that we've seen their training, let's get into the tournament itself. Goku deals with Batamo as normal, and Frost is still able to defeat him by cheating. However, after Piccolo is defeated, Cabba and Jaco both get suspicious, picking up on the needle, and instead of Vegeta going to fight him, Cabba volunteers. He takes out Frost and then moves on to Vegeta. Cabba's strategic and uses his gigantification to attack Vegeta on the same scale. While this is working, the heat is getting to him. He uses his healing to heal himself before figuring out that using words to defeat him is the trick. The next fighter is interesting. It's supposed to be Cabba, right? But Cabba's in Universe 7, so who's the fighter for Universe 6? Well, recap. While Champa was looking for a Saiyan, he came across Sadala, but he doesn't really find anyone worthy in the elite squad. He's told to find some dude named Renzo, who is too old and broken to fight, but he leads them to another Saiyan named Caulifla. Champa is just about to give up when he discovers her. When her men try to attack him, he Akais them all, disintegrating them. Caulifla is angered and provokes Champa, but he promises her power if she simply participates in the tournament. Caulifla likes power, a lot, so she agrees. Back to the present, Cabba steps in the ring to face off against her, as Kale watches from the stands. Cabba is easily overpowering her, but considering that she's a Saiyan, he helps her out by helping her unlock Super Saiyan. Caulifla eventually gets it by concentrating all her power into her back. I know that was probably the most stupid thing Dragon Ball Super had done, but if it gets you Super Saiyan, why not? They both have a good fight and Cabba shows off Super Saiyan God to defeat her, which she actually wants to achieve and strive for right after the tournament, unlike Cabba did in the original. In the stands, Kale's blood is boiling, her hair even turns green for a moment, but she calms down when Caulifla is safe. Next up, the finale, Cabba vs. Hit. While Hit's time skip takes Cabba by surprise, he's in God from the beginning, which is insanely powerful as I've mentioned. Hit's time skip only works on people who aren't astronomically more powerful than him. He's able to improve plenty, but after a while, Cabba uses his ultimate form on top of God. He's mastered it at this point, and he follows by firing a Gallic gun at Hit, which leads to his elimination. Zeno then arrives and Cabba is understanding of everyone's hesitation. And he's smart, so he doesn't dab Zeno up, but Goku does it for him. In all seriousness, however, the next foe, Zamasu, is not happy with the outcome of this tournament. He looks at his options of taking a body. There's Goku, Cabba, and Vegeta. While Cabba was clearly the strongest, he's sort of a Kai in training, so he can't really be mad at Cabba for using God powers. And Goku didn't showcase any God powers because he never fought Hit. Even if he had, he realizes that Vegeta's crime is far worse. Vegeta has not only learned to utilize the power of the gods, but also manipulate it. Zamasu ends up taking his body, then killing Gowasu and going back in time to get another version of himself, making him immortal and attacking the future. In this what if, the future timeline is fixed, and future Trunks is a constant, so we have the same future timeline as we would in the normal version of events. The only difference being that it's Vegeta Black. Much like how Goku Black did, this Black uses Trunks as training practice. He's actually weaker than Trunks at the beginning, but over time he easily surpasses him. Eventually, it comes down to the point where Trunks is becoming fodder. One day, they finally collect enough fuel in the time machine for Trunks to go back. But Black actually attacks them and his face comes into view. Trunks watches as a man that looks like his father murders his mother right in front of his eyes. Trunks makes it back to the present, but he isn't thinking clearly, and attacks the Vegeta of the present. Unlike Goku, Vegeta not only catches the punch, but also punches Trunks back to knock some sense into him. Trunks apologizes and then breaks down what happened. Someone who looked like Vegeta attacked the future and destroyed everything. Present Vegeta is pissed. Someone's impersonating him now? He's gonna teach that idiot a thing or two about copying another Saiyan. Vegeta doesn't have to wait long though, as a rift opens up with Black coming through it. Goku isn't the one to go fight him as Vegeta does because this dude literally copied his fate, and Vegeta does not like people copying him. Vegeta is also not one for small talk. As soon as Black comes out of this rift, he powers up into Super Saiyan God and attacks Black, pummeling him down. He's about to kill this sort of counterpart when the rift opens up again and he's pulled back into the future. Black doesn't get any time to blow up the time machine, resulting in them heading back to the future even earlier. Once arriving, Goku is the one to take on Black, as Vegeta already got his turn. He powers up into blue and has the upper hand for some time before Black reveals his Rosé form. Goku goes into Kaioken to counter that, and he manages to do so until Zamasu comes out of nowhere and kicks him into the dirt. Cabba powers up into God and continues to fight while Vegeta and Trunks take on Zamasu. Cabba is on par with Vegeta Black, but he needs an advantage as Cabba and Black are continuously growing in power while the fight goes on. He tries to activate Ultimate to get the upper hand, but just as he does, Black does the same thing. He had figured that Cabba would be a big problem in trying to use this against him. He made sure to use Super Shenron one more time to grant a wish where his potential is released. They continue to fight until Cabba is kicked out of his form. Vegeta and Trunks have the overall advantage over Zamasu, but he just won't die. They realize he's immortal eventually, and are both stopped. Black and Zamasu then form a blast in the air, ready to take everyone out. That's when Cabba notices Goku get up. He powers up into Ultimate Super Saiyan Blue, something he had been working on as Goku fires a Kamehameha to blow up the attack that was about to blow up his friends. Cabba dashes past and lands a direct blow to Black, knocking him out of Rosé. Vegeta fires a final flash which sends Zamasu out of commission, and Trunks creates a smoke screen leading to the group escaping. There isn't enough time for them all to go, so Cabba and Trunks put Goku and Vegeta in the time machine and send them off. Before they go, Cabba tells Vegeta to find his friends on Yardrat. Maybe they can help. As Goku and Vegeta are hurtled into the past, they get healed up and do what they must. Goku goes to learn the Mafuba while Vegeta is going into the time chamber and trains for half a day or 6 months for him. He uses the other 12 hours with the help of Whis to go to Yardrat and find Cabba's friends, Borgos and Sagage. They're shocked to see the prince alive and ask what he needs. Vegeta explains that Cabba's in danger and they need his help. The two already know how to use Super Saiyan, and Vegeta smirks. At least you know how to do that. They then go back and train in the room Spirit in Time where they also achieve Super Saiyan 2. It's a piece of cake for everybody at this point in time. These two know literally every Yardrat technique ever, and they have insane mastery over spirit control, which makes their base power stronger than even Vegeta's. The time machine actually can't fit the two of them, so Borgos is the one to go back with them. Totally not a convenient plot point that helps me in using less renders. Regardless, as they arrive, everyone can sense Cabba and Trunks fighting. Cabba's in blue while Trunks has unlocked some new form of power. Immediately they fly over to help, with Vegeta absolutely rocking Black with a punch to the stomach. He absolutely demolishes his fate counterpart to the point where Black gets knocked out of his Rosé form. Trunks distracts Zamasu while Goku prepares the Mafuba. Borgos goes over to help Cabba back up. "It's good to see you," he says, "but now is not the time for a reunion." He lets Cabba in on the plan. Borgos uses his Yardratian techniques of gigantification and cloning to split himself into 3 and turning into Super Saiyan 2 at the same time. Just as Vegeta Black uses his fake Rift clones on Vegeta, Borgos arrives with his clones to help. Cabba heals himself and powers up into Ultimate Blue to attack Vegeta Black alongside the actual Vegeta. The group seem to be winning when Goku uses the Mafuba on Zamasu and seals him in the pot. But just as he does, Zamasu escapes. Like an idiot, Goku forgot the seal, and this scares Zamasu to the point where he fuses with Black to become Fused Zamasu. This new fusion is beyond anything the group have ever faced, and there's no chance for any survival at this time. It comes down to a fusion when Shin and Gowasu come to help. We could just do Vegito, but that would be boring, and Vegeta doesn't want to fuse with Goku anyways. He's much more comfortable doing it with Cabba, which they end up going with. Vegeta and Cabba turn into Kajita, who transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and demolishes Fused Zamasu. This fusion is beyond that of Vegito, even going as far as to utilize Ultimate on top of Blue. Zamasu's corrupted state doesn't even do anything. Kajita blows him up, seemingly winning. But just then, they defuse, and they would have won if Zamasu wasn't partially immortal. He turns into an infinite being, which unfortunately leads to the erasure of the future timeline by Zeno's hands. Yep, Goku still got a Zeno button. Trunks and Mai are eventually set to an alternate future by Whis, and the Tournament of Power becomes the next hurdle to overcome. The group are obviously mad at Goku, as they should be, and they don't lie because Cabba thinks it's the smarter thing to do. The team includes of 6 Saiyans: Cabba, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Borgos, and Sagash. The two decided to stick around for a while because they wanted to catch up with Cabba and what had been going on with him. The rest of the team would obviously have Piccolo, Roshi, and Krillin. They need one more fighter, and I have the perfect android in mind: 16. While 17 and 18 died in this time, 16 was technically only half dead. We've seen him survive getting his entire body blown off before. Bulma patched him up and he ended up working on an island with the animals in his protection, like 17. 16 always did love animals, so it's in his nature to do so. However, they recruit him for this, and to save the animals, he happily joins. While 16 is fully robot, Bulma is able to heavily enhance him for this fight, hooking him up with the best tech they have at Capsule Corp. The exhibition match still happens because future Zeno was still brought back. However, it goes the same, except Cabba replaces Buu, defeating Basil easily. While Buu would be considered an amazing candidate, I imagine he'd fall asleep like normal. Goku takes on Toppo and learns of an extremely powerful warrior named Jiren. We finally get to the tournament ring, where the rules are made clear before all hell breaks loose. Universe 6 does not have a Cabba, which most likely leads them to have some other Saiyan, or some kind of side character like Dr. Rhoda. Either way, it doesn't affect anything too much. Speaking of Saiyans though, Caulifla and Kale are much more confident in their abilities. They've had one hell of a time on planet Sadala, or should I say, Champa's planet. Universe 9 goes after Universe 7 from the start, and that doesn't go well for them as both Goku and Vegeta take them out pretty easily. Cabba notices that Kale and Caulifla are active in the ring, and taking out fighters that Frieza did in the original. He sees them as a threat, but he's not going to charge right in because there's 2 of them. Cabba sticks around with Gohan and Piccolo, which results in them fighting the Universe 6 Namekians much sooner than in the original. With the 3 of them having good teamwork and synergy, it doesn't take long for them to overpower the Namekians and take them out with a combined attack. Cabba splits off from the group for a second, having seen Frost come up to Krillin in an attempt of a sneak attack. He's able to save Krillin from elimination by kicking Frost out of the ring. Universe 4 starts to deplete much sooner than normal, because 16 is on the team. His robotic parts help detect the smaller creatures, as well as the ones that are seemingly invisible to the eye. Except his aren't human eyes. He's able to swiftly eliminate Universe 4 with the help of Roshi. Anilaza forms much sooner, seeing 16 take out a whole universe. But with the help of Piccolo, Cabba, and Gohan, 16 fares pretty well against the brute that is Anilaza. He detaches his arms and uses a Hell's Flash, which hits Anilaza everywhere. Piccolo creates an explosive wave on his face, which damages the crystal, while Gohan fires a Kamehameha at the bottom of the ring, joined by Cabba. 16 sees the crystal and lunges towards it with a punch. It cracks and Anilaza deforms, being knocked out of the ring. Soon after, Caulifla and Kale finally decide to take on Cabba. After all, he did help them achieve the power they carry now. At the same time, Goku faces off against Jiren, which goes pretty much the same. When the Spirit Bomb starts to be formed, Cabba alongside Vegeta are there to lend energy. Krillin and Roshi save Goku by kicking Ribrianne to the side, but are eliminated while doing so, while also eliminating her. This Spirit Bomb might be stronger, but Jiren is still able to overpower, resulting in Ultra Instinct Omen Goku. After that whole ordeal, Cabba comes to Goku's aid, healing him fully, which will play a part later. Hit attacks Jiren, and their fight ends up going mostly the same, up until Jiren breaks out of the time cage. Caulifla and Kale had been observing. They had taken out most of Universe 11 by themselves, with a little help from Universe 7's Borgos and Sagash. When they see Hit in trouble, the two decide to finally step in. Jiren isn't a threat to be taken lightly, however, so they both power up into Super Saiyan God. Hold on, rewind. How? Well, right after the Tournament of Destroyers, Caulifla goes up to Champa and Vados alongside Kale. She demands that they train her to unlock that God Super Saiyan or whatever. Champa declines at first, but after Caulifla brings up the fact that the Xenotwerp over there said he was going to hold another tournament, "I bet you would want your Saiyans to be stronger than Universe 7's, she said. Champa gives a sigh, realizing she's probably right, and allows her to train on his planet. Kale is there as well, and she ends up berserking out while trying to achieve Super Saiyan. Her form is able to overtake Caulifla easily. Vados helps train Kale with meditation and other ways to control her berserk state. By the end of that segment of training, she's able to control it easily. Angels are a handy bunch of trainers. They then strive towards the power of the Super Saiyan God, the form Cabba showed them at the end of their fight, and with time and training, they too manage to achieve it. Caulifla and Kale save hit and then launch a full assault towards Jiren, who is able to block most of the attacks. Caulifla lunges at him with a kick, which he catches, but Kale comes from behind him blasting his back, which makes Jiren twitch. He starts to power up and eventually surpass the two, before Kale uses her berserk mode on top of Super Saiyan God. This is something she doesn't have full mastery over, but can use for short periods of time. Jiren has to start trying more and more, as Hit starts to join the fight as well. Seeing Jiren overwhelmed, Toppo and Dispo jump in, but Vegeta and Cabba stop them. Cabba goes into Ultimate Blue challenging Dispo's speed, with Gohan coming to his aid. Toppo is able to fight Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta on par, but he says screw it and throws away his ideals for the sake of his universe. Toppo uses his God of Destruction form, pushing Vegeta to his limits. Vegeta gets Hakkai'd repeatedly, and the destructive power overtakes him. Vegeta's resolve is as thick as steel, however, and he manages to overpower the Hakkai as his hair turns into a more darker shade. Vegeta powers through it with his aura blowing up. He ascends into Super Saiyan Blue evolution and fights Toppo, this time overpowering him. Vegeta ducks under one of Toppo's punches and puts his hand on Toppo's chest before firing a ki blast and sends the brute over and out of the ring. Cabba smirks as he and Gohan take out Dispo as well, with Gohan sacrificing himself. On the main front, Caulifla, Kale, and Hit are starting to be overpowered when Jiren starts to near his max power. Jiren sends Hit flying back and punches Caulifla out of her god form. This sends Kale into a rage, which helps her but only for a short period of time. She's kicked out of her brute form and then punched out of Super Saiyan God. The two Saiyans lie on the floor as Jiren is about to blast them out of the ring. Just then, Caulifla gestures something, which Kale understands. They look at their belt, remembering what Champa had told them before the tournament. A green-like object is shown on their ear, and as Jiren fires his blast, the two are pulled towards each other, fusing into Kefla, and dissipating the blast. Now, anyone who disagrees with me at this point probably doesn't understand the power of Kefla. She would be a monster in this story. A Super Saiyan Kefla was overpowering a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, and this one has freaking God Ki. Her base would be surpassing Cabba's Ultimate Super Saiyan Blue easily, and with her going into Super Saiyan God, Jiren would get smashed. He's thrown around and played with like he's nothing. When Jiren unlocks his awakened form, he's able to put up some sort of a fight, but as a final move, Kefla utilizes her new power to access Super Saiyan Blue. Caulifla and Kale had started to access that power, and this is the boost that they needed. Kefla uses her Meteor Blast against Jiren's blast, which is a ball of hell, and overpowers him, knocking him out just as they defuse. Yeah, Jiren is knocked out, and that is realistic. It's now up to Universe 7 and 6, with Goku taking on Hit, Kale taking on Vegeta, Borgos and Sagash, and Caulifla taking on Cabba. We finally get to see their fight, and with all their power-ups throughout, it's a great display. Caulifla is able to overpower Cabba's ultimate god, but he utilizes his full power to finally take her out with a Gallic gun, thanking her for the great fight. The other Saiyans launch a combined attack on Kale, and with the final push from Vegeta's blue evolution, they manage to do it. Hit and Goku are the last to fight, and Goku's sheer power at the end of it all breaks through its time skip. His eyes even turn silver for a quick moment as he knocks out Hit with a point-blank Kamehameha. This leads us to the final arc of this story, the Moro arc. The Broly movie doesn't happen because Frieza was never revived. The Moro arc is less of an arc and more of an immediate death in the first battle. Cabba has been training with magic for over a decade under the Grand Kai, the one person who managed to seal Moro's abilities. With Cabba having the power to not only seal Moro's powers for good, but also destroy him, there is no chance for him. Their first encounter on Namek is also their last. Moro is expecting to absorb everything out of Cabba, but he utilizes Force Spirit Fission and the techniques he learned from the Grand Kai to stop Moro from doing so. He instead takes all of Moro's energy, turning him back into an old goat, before firing the attack at him, eradicating Moro for good. And that's the end of Cabba's journey. For now. I really hope you guys did enjoy the full story of Cabba's journey in Universe 7. Please hit that like and subscribe button, it helps out more than you realize. Shout out to Potaro X for providing the amazing thumbnail for this full movie video. Check out his DeviantArt link in the description, as well as everyone who helped out with the renders. Another shout out goes to Alpha What Ifs for being a member of the channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.